Guys, the stuff that they share with us is absolutely priceless, guys. I mean, what people pay um for the information that they share, guys, people pay tens of thousands of dollars for, guys. So time is now 8:01. Countdown 3 more minutes, family. Hey, make sure you got something to take notes with. We're going to be rocking and rolling about 2 more minutes, family. 2 more minutes. I can't wait to get started, and we're going to see you guys soon. Hey, family, it's Delano back here again. We're going to get started here in just a moment, family. Just waiting for Willie Tim. We'll be getting started here in just a moment, guys. Want to thank you guys for your patience. Want to thank you guys for being on time. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in with us each and every single Monday night at 8 o'clock, guys. You guys could be doing anything with your time, and I just want to let you guys know that we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. We're getting started here in just a minute. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody was able to get some work done, do some marketing, do some following up. Fourth quarter push, guys. I'm super excited getting some work done myself. Let's make the fourth quarter a really great one, the best one yet, family. Let's make this fourth quarter the best one yet. Um, it's 8:05. We're getting started here in just a couple of minutes, family. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for bearing with us. We're getting started here in just a couple of minutes. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody had a great Monday. Hope everybody's looking forward to crushing it this fourth quarter. A lot of great opportunities coming up, guys. So, my little piece of advice to give you all: take advantage of it. take advantage. If you guys are new, this is a really great time to take advantage of all the different opportunities when it comes to helping out sellers. When I first started working with Will and Tim, almost 3 years ago, um, I remember it was the fourth quarter, and I remember we did about 3 or 4 deals, and like maybe about 4 deals in a short amount of time, and it was great, guys. It was a great way to start my journey in real estate investing. So if you guys ever wanted to jump into real estate, ever wanted to get into this business, this is a great time, family. This is an absolute great time to take advantage of all the great opportunities, help these sellers out. We'll be getting started here in just a couple of minutes, family. Got a very special guest that's going to be with us tonight. And again, thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We're getting started here in just a moment. Hey, family, it's Delano Logan, and I want to welcome everybody to our Monday Money Making Motivational Mindset Zoom that we do each and every single Monday night at 8 o'clock. Guys, if you guys are new, welcome. For those of you that have been with us, or been on a few calls, or been with us since the beginning, I want to welcome everybody back. As some of you guys may or may not know, REI Wholesalers Like Us was created by Will and Tim, pretty much with the intention to share their 25 plus years of knowledge and experience and of wholesaling real estate in Atlanta with the community. Since then, they helped a lot of people, of course, sellers get rid of their problem situations. They helped a lot of buyers get really great deals. They helped the neighborhoods with selling these properties. And of course, they helped a lot of people get their first checks, and they helped a lot of people actually get into this business full time. Some are actually doing really, really great, guys, doing 6-figure a year profits, guys. So if you guys are here, you're definitely in the right place. Like I mentioned earlier, the information that they share, the content and the nuggets that they share, people pay a lot of money for, and they're sharing it here for free, guys. So if you're here, you're in the right place, you're blessed, just like me. I could go on and on about these brothers here and how much they push me and help me actually elevate myself and my business every single day, every single week when I speak with them. But hey, guys, Will and Tim, if you guys on the line, the stage is yours.
Hey, Delano, how's it going? Can you see and hear us?
Hey, Tim, I can see you perfectly fine.
Perfect. Well, listen, guys, welcome to Money Making Motivational Mindset Monday, Zoom and Facebook Live. We are live here tonight, guys, and we are so very, very grateful to be doing this tonight. I just want to thank God before I get started with anything. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this opportunity, the opportunity to serve you guys here with Money Making Motivational Mindset Monday, which we do every single Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m., guys. I'm Tim Harvey. That's my partner, Will Galloway. And the gentleman you just heard, his name is Delano Logan. He is on a real fourth quarter push. And he is really taking action and producing the results, actually. So we're excited for Delano. We're excited for what he's doing. We're excited that he decided to just take a few minutes out of his day to hear it tonight and to be able to host this Zoom, guys. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live. Welcome to Zoom. I just want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We are so honored to be getting on tonight with our special guest tonight, guys. Listen, guys, it's not every week that you have an opportunity to hear from somebody who has the pedigree that this person has, and we are just excited for this opportunity. And just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight about myself and my partner Will and how we started this group about 5 years ago. Me and Will, we were actually, partners in business and real estate. We had our separate companies, but we're actively doing business and real estate, actively in the pursuit of wholesaling real estate, buying and selling properties. And, we just, God just impressed upon us to start a community of like-minded people that wanted to learn about real estate, wanted to do it from a faith-based perspective, and just do it together as a community. Little did we know that 5 years later, that the community would grow to this size. The community would grow to over 4,000 members, some of which are very active. We've been blessed to be able to help, many people, been able to help many people start, get their first deal done. Been able to help a lot of people actually, go forward in their business, in buying and selling real estate. We've been able to help some partners, even achieve that six-figure yearly status. And guys, we just know there's none of us and all of God who gave us this opportunity and who allowed us to be vessels to actually even do this. So we are blessed, and we just realized that we are vessels and we are blessed to be a blessing. So, we've been excited to actually put this community together. We started off, just doing meetups, which was an excellent thing, everybody getting together, meeting as a community. And, and then we just started doing business, with our partners. We started teaching a lot of partners how to buy and sell real estate. And eventually it got to these Monday calls because we realized, that a lot of our partners, needed motivation, for Monday. For a lot of people, Monday is the worst day of the week. And but for us, we decided to be accountable to each other and make Monday the best day of the week. Monday is that day that actually gives you, that gives you that that motivation, to keep going. And Monday is the day that actually brings that momentum to you. So that's where we started these money-making motivational mindset Mondays, which we do every week at 8 o'clock. We've been able to expand. We've expanded to Facebook. We've been able to expand to Zoom. We've actually been able to expand to YouTube, and we have been blessed to be able to do that. God also put it in our heart to do a God also put it in our heart, earlier this year, to start a program for our partners, a dialing for dollars program, where our partners, actually be able, are able to get on and dial for dollars free, without having to, to pay the expense of, of marketing. All you got to do is just get on your phone and make telephone calls and be able to have a nice part-time to a full-time business in real estate. So guys, we're excited about tonight. Like I said, we've got a special guest tonight, and listen, she's just going to bring the heat. So, so we're excited about that, and guys, I just can't wait to do this. It has been a great weekend for us. We've just been blessed. We've been blessed to be able to, to be able to open our eyes. We've been blessed to be able to, just breathe. And we're grateful for that. We're grateful also for the opportunity to be able to do business, with real estate and just be able to do it at a high level. We're also grateful for an opportunity to be able to do business with a lot of you guys, that we see on the line. So we're excited about that. Give me just 1 second, guys. Let me get my partner back on here. But But yeah, guys, I mean, like I said, when it comes to just being blessed, I mean, we realize it. I mean, we are blessed to be a blessing. We also realize that, yeah, listen, we're vessels. We're vessels for this thing. So, we understand our responsibility. We understand what it is that we're here to do, and we just pray that you guys just pass it on, pass on. So, partner, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about, what we are going to talk about tonight. I'm excited about our guest. And listen, I just can't wait. I've got my pen here, my digital pen here, and I'm ready to take notes tonight, and be able to sit back and perhaps just ask a few questions. But I'm excited, and as I can see, everybody is actually, filling up the timeline here on Zoom and Facebook Live. People are, just filling up. And listen, I mean, this is going to be a monumental night, especially here in this fourth quarter, when it's all about accountability.
Absolutely, man. Well, first and foremost, let me just give all the glory to my Lord Savior Jesus Christ for, again, allowing us this platform. I'm going to keep it short and simple, because my internet was giving me a little hectic earlier. So, but to make a long story short, I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful for the guests again tonight, like Tim mentioned earlier. This is going to be a powerful meetup. For one, I invited my sister on tonight because, we was having a conversation at her house, and she had a presentation with her job, and the presentation was based on accountability. And when she went over, the discussion and what she went over, I just thought it was impactful. I just thought that, everything she talked about, I just said, hey, I need you on the call. I need you, we do Mindset Motivational Mondays, and I need you to bring that, because some people need to hear what's going to be talked about. And I'm grateful, that she chose to be able to get on and give us some of her time. And I'm gonna let her give her presentation. I'll bring her on. My sister Carla Smith, you here? Just want to get her started.
Okay, Carla Smith. All right, let's see.
You might want to raise your hand if you don't see your name in there. Okay, there she go. Get your camera on. I'm super excited. Hey.
Hey, Carla.
Like your hat.
How you doing? Carla, if you can, there should be a place down at the bottom of your screen where to give you an opportunity to unmute yourself. Will it let you do?
There we go. Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing? Love your hat.
My brother gave such a good introduction. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are, we're grateful that you decided to be with us. I've been hearing some great things, about this topic. And listen, I mean, we just know that here it is. It's the fourth quarter, and listen, it's that time, where this topic is probably the most important topic. So we're excited. Let us know what you want us to bring. I mean, everybody is here, and we want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, thank you. The first thing I would suggest everybody do before we get started is definitely have a piece of paper and a pen, and a pencil, and something to write with, if nothing else, because there's going to be a lot of note taking, and hopefully you guys take some very, very valuable information away from this presentation. And I like the way you kind of introduced everything talking about accountability, because I think that there's multiple definitions for people when you think about accountability. And oftentimes that's kind of where it stops us from being progressive. And as Will mentioned, I teach this course at work, amongst other things, hats that I wear. And the thing that we're working on at my company is just individual accountability, right? We're trying to shift the culture. We know everything is about culture change and culture shift. And this is just a part of that. And there's a lot of different activities. This particular training would have taken about 2 days to do. So I tried to kind of condense it and pull out the most important pieces that I thought you guys can kind of take away from it. So without further ado, if you guys don't mind, I'll share my screen. I've created a little presentation.
Okay.
And feel free to stop me at any time if you guys have questions, or if you kind of want to wait to the end. And it says the host disabled participants from sharing their screen. So If somebody's
Okay. Let me see if I can access this technology.
okay.
All right.
Now, if it does not work, Tim, no worries. I can read through it and still be just as impactful if that works as well.
I know here it is right here, I believe.
Okay.
And let's see if that works, Carla.
Okay, let me try. Perfect. All righty. So again, I put together a quick little presentation and I'll kind of introduce myself. And this presentation is kind of what is accountability, right? That's often a question when you think about it. And when you ask someone, are they accountable? You can never meet a person who says they're not accountable, right? Everyone feels like they exhibit some level of accountability. So we'll kind of talk about what that is, and we'll talk about the various different mindsets that we can kind of be in that kind of sample our growth into really being and stepping into that step of accountability. So again, as I was introduced, my name is Carla Smith, and I do work at a healthcare organization here in Atlanta where I teach this. I live, I breathe, I sleep accountability. I'm sure my family could probably teach this class because I talk to my kids about it. My husband and I talk about it. And it's some very valuable information that I gained. And as Will mentioned in our conversation, he thought that it was good feedback as well. But just a little bit about me. I have 15 plus years working in information technology, mainly in healthcare. However, I have worked in several different sectors such as private, public, and nonprofit organizations. At many of my organizations, I've been a trainer of various different things, culture changing, change management, and project management, just to name a few. But with all of these hats I've worn at different locations, as you guys may have as well, I've worked with a multitude of different people and personalities. And one of the key things that I've noticed with this is you have to communicate with each person on the level in which they best communicate with, right? And we have to start out with some ground rules. So for the beginning of this presentation, I wanted to kind of give you guys an analogy of somewhere we'll start. And we'll kind of start out with this clip here, and I'm sure many of you guys may be familiar with this movie, and it's called The Wizard of Oz. And if you guys remember the concept of the movie, it kind of talked about these 4 key characters in the movie who were all on this quest to Oz to see this wizard, right? They were all on their way looking for this wizard who was going to grant all of these what ifs, I'll call them, right, for them. So in one portion of the movie, there was a character who said, if only I had a brain, right? He just felt like if he can get to this Oz and meet this wizard, he just give him this brain, which would solve all of his issues. And then we had another character in the movie that said, if only I had a heart, right? And he thought about, if only I had a heart, I'd be able to do all these miraculous things. There was also another character in that movie who said, if only I had courage. And this was the lion, right? This was the guy who, in many aspects, people think is born with courage, right? And sometimes we can look at people and we can look at their physique and think that they're supposed to have the ability to do certain things. But yet courage is something that he was seeking. So one of the activities I'd like you guys to kind of focus on today is, what is your what if that you feel like is kind of holding you back, right? What is your what if only I had? And that can be if only I had finished school, right? Or if only I had that new car, or if only I can make that first sale. And a lot of us get so boggled down in the what ifs. The number one key piece in this movie that some people forget about is that there never was a wizard, right? They got to Oz and they thought they were going to get all these things resolved, but it was just a man behind a curtain. It was all a facade. All the things that they needed, all of the what ifs, the brain, the heart, the courage, and even Dorothy, the main character, her wish was to get home. They already possessed the skills that were necessary to accomplish these things. She just had to click her feet together and she was able to get home. There was already a brain already there for the scarecrow. The Tin Man already had a heart, and the lion possessed the courage that he needed, right? And I think that's a lot of us. We're all in this quest to find that what if, and we're looking for magical solutions to get us there, when in actuality, we possess the tools that are necessary for ourselves. So when we talk about what tools are necessary for ourselves and just making sure that we can get where we want to be, we have to come out of that magical land as well, that there's going to be someone with a cape or someone behind a curtain that's going to kind of sweep us up and going to resolve all of our issues. And the first step that we talk about in class, in the classes that I train, is you have to be accountable for your own destiny, right? Only you can control that. So we'll start out with the dictionary version of accountability. So I'll go through all of my slides. There's only 8. And afterwards, we can definitely talk about it in dialogue. So feel free to take your notes while I'm going over if there's something that we need to come back to. But the dictionary version of accountability is kind of where people think when they think about accountability. And these areas that are highlighted are kind of what comes first, which means that I'm subject to having to justify, right? We have to explain ourselves. When you think about accountability, it's almost as if you're telling someone what they're not doing. So they have to justify and give you examples. And we feel like we're trying to prove ourselves. And what I've noticed in the business world is that has a negative connotation for people, right? No one wants to be called about not being accountable, right? We think we show up every day, we do our jobs. That's accountability. However, when you really think about accountability, when you're wanting to take things to the next level, is you have to change your mindset when you think about accountability. And accountability has to be a mindset change. And you have to think that I'm making a personal choice, right? I'm making the choice to rise above my circumstances and demonstrate a level of ownership that's necessary for me achieving the results that I want, right? When you can change your mindset to think that way, then you can really say that you have control of the next steps that you take in life. A lot of us get bogged down with the old definition of accountability, and we kind of get stuck. We kind of get stuck in thinking that we have to justify something. But justifying something is what you're doing for someone else. When you can change the definition of accountability to making a personal choice for yourself, this is when you're taking back that ownership, right? And when you can take back that ownership, then you now have what's necessary. You can overcome any circumstances. However, when we think about accountability, even changing that mindset, we can't negate the fact that we have to start from back where maybe some of these beliefs even resonated from, right? And a lot of that starts with this pyramid that I use. And again, I use this in training. And if anybody, I'm just going to give them a plug, but if anybody finds value in what I'm talking about, there is a company called Partners in Leadership that has a book called The Oz Principles that kind of dives a little bit deeper into this. But I just pulled out a few excerpts and of course created some of my own because I'm not here representing them. But a lot of this starts with this pyramid. And I thought this pyramid was very powerful because at the top we have what we call results. And the results are ultimately those what ifs that you guys wrote down. What if I only had that degree again? What if I had that new car? What if I got that new job? However, the results are always led by actions that we take. And oftentimes, no matter what action we take, we're going to end up with some type of result, whether it's desired or undesired. And many times the actions that we take are led by our belief systems. And many of these belief systems are developed from very young ages, maybe what we saw or maybe what we experienced, right? Oftentimes we have experiences that drive our beliefs that then trigger the way in which we handle certain things, meaning our actions. And those results may not be necessarily what we want. So in a Mindset Monday class that you all had last week, there was a lot of mention about the guy on the phone, Delano, was talking about maybe making those phone calls and doing those cold calls. Just think about if your experience was, well, that doesn't work for me, right? That's just hard. And a lot of us can kind of talk ourselves out of a good thing. I know you guys have heard of that. But if you had the mindset of, well, that's my experience has been that it doesn't work for me, your belief system is going to drive you there, right? Which means the actions are not going to align with getting you the results that you want. So there has to be a line drawn between your experiences and your beliefs. Because oftentimes we have to be willing to change those experiences or allow the experiences to change so that we can shift our belief systems. Because a lot of times that's what's holding us back. And this is ultimately what I call the results pyramid. And this would be something, if I were you guys, that I would write down, because this is a very powerful way in which we need to trigger our mindsets, because we have to start with the root. And the root is the experiences that we've had. A lot of us haven't had good experiences in certain things. Therefore, our belief system is maybe that it doesn't work or that's not for me. However, we have to be willing to know that experiences can change. I know that you guys have heard that the first time you meet somebody, impressions are everything. I know that maybe you may have met someone, maybe you may have been on the giving end or the receiving end, and maybe that meeting didn't go so well. And maybe the beliefs about you are incorrect or you're wanting to change those beliefs. You have to be willing to have a different experience. You have to open your mind to that, so that you can align your actions properly and you can actually get the results that you want. So when you talk about all of that, we also have to acknowledge, well, what are some of the things that are holding us back from even getting there? A lot of us have a victim mentality. And when you say victim mentality, it's hard for some people to digest because we never really consider ourselves victims. But some of the ways in which we can consider ourselves victim is, have you found yourself waiting to see if a situation would miraculously resolve itself? Like, that's considered victim mentality. I don't know about you guys, but I have family or friends or people that I know who say that they're looking for a job and have been looking for a job, it seems like forever. But you never see them really making the steps to look for a job, meaning they're not leaving their homes, they're not online, they're not making those connections and networking, right? When you think about that, it's not going to miraculously come to you. A job is not going to knock on your door and say, hey, we have this perfect salary for you. We have to be making those steps to make this thing a reality. And oftentimes that's victim mentality thinking. Or have you ever played the blame game, right? You finger point about why it isn't your fault why you don't have this, or why it isn't your fault that this isn't going right, instead of looking at yourself and figuring out what differently you could have done to handle a situation. Or maybe have you found yourself telling stories about someone who you think took advantage of you, right? And a lot of those examples are victim mentality. And what I typically do in my class is I hand out a victim mentality assessment that I created. And there's a score system behind it. But this is an anonymous test that they take, but it allows them to individually reflect and kind of gauge, well, maybe I do have a bit of a victim mentality. Because a lot of us also play what I have the blame game, right? We'll ignore and deny that there's something going on or something different that we need to do. Again, we finger point, and a lot of us just wait and see. You can't expect results to manifest if we aren't actively seeking or taking the steps necessary. And I know you guys talk about this too. That mentality can be a deal breaker for anything successful wise that you're trying to aspire to in your life. And a lot of us don't stop to even see where these things manifest. And as I mentioned, a lot of this stuff manifests in your upbringing, right? Maybe you've never seen anyone successful. You've never had the opportunity to be around positive people. You don't really know how to network. A lot of those things are going to lead to a belief system that is hindering you, that's kind of holding you back. So now that we've kind of established some of these, and again, guys, this is just a condensed version of the training that I would typically do. But once you kind of identify some of these areas where there's a weakness, there's always a path to accountability, right? There's always a flip side. If you go below the line, if you handle things incorrectly, there's always a recovery point. And the first thing of that is what I say is there has to be some period of acknowledgement, right? We have to, I know you guys have experienced this as well, know anyone who has any addictions or any behaviors that they like to change. You first have to acknowledge that you have an issue, right? And you have to say, what is the reality that I most need to acknowledge? And many of us are really good at, when we start our New Year's resolutions, we start putting together our accountability partners for workout. This is also a good example of when you need an accountability partner. You need someone to do and someone to give you an honest feedback on yourself and maybe what they've seen. Maybe it's someone that a mentor, a family member, a friend, or someone that you trust. Because oftentimes it's hard for us to acknowledge the reality that we need to change, because a lot of us don't do a really good job at self-acknowledgement or self-evaluation. So one of the first steps, again, to the path of accountability is your acknowledgement that there's something that needs to be changed, right? There's some behavior that needs to be modified. The next step is you have to take control. It's your life, right? What can you control? And a lot of times we're in situations where we can't control everything, but figure out what you can control and take that control back, right? Because we have to figure out, am I contributing to the problem, or am I contributing to the solution? Because a lot of us can be our own worst enemies. So when you have acknowledged things and you can take your control back, that's when you can move into developing an actual plan, right? And that plan can be anything from goals. And the way that I tell my kids is always set short-term and long-term goals, right? We want to make sure that we set long-term goals, because those are the things maybe we aspire to have in the next 12 months, 5 years, or so on. But we want to also set short-term goals so that we see those small wins as we're going down our path, right, to our what ifs, because our what ifs are actually our results. Those are the things that we like to have in life that we can control. And then we have to think, while we're developing this plan, what else is there that I could be doing, right? Or what is it that other people haven't been doing? A lot of times we'll start down a path that we see someone else doing, and we're following, we think, in their same footsteps, but that may not necessarily be the path to your success, right? The idea maybe something that everybody can attain, but there's going to be different footsteps that everyone needs to take. So maybe thinking outside the box of what works for you, right? Doing what haven't you done already? Or what is it that you can do more of? And once you develop that plan, then now you're in the execution phase. And this is kind of where people kind of fall short. We're really good sometimes at acknowledging, we're really good at figuring out, okay, I can take control of this, and we're coming up with a plan. But when you talk about execution, a lot of people are not doing the same things that they say that they'll do, right? And that's kind of where a plan kind of falls short. We have to be able to fully execute. We can come up with 100 different ideas, but if you can't get to that point of execution, the idea remains that an idea. So I'm glad that I was able to share this with you guys. And I hope that some of these tidbits are just kind of sparking your thought process about maybe some of the ways or things that you can possibly do different. And I hope that it was beneficial. I do want to open it up for if there are any questions or if you guys have written down any notes so that we can dialogue a little bit more about it. But I feel like as a people, or just people in general, there's often these 4 areas here that we struggle. And I think the first one, which is acknowledgement, and the last one, which is execution, is kind of where there's a gray area. So again, get you an accountability partner. Get you a little notebook and write positive affirmations if that works for you. Write down some goals, short-term and long-term. And this will definitely shift your mindset in the way that you handle different things. Excuse me, but I do want to go back to just the definition of accountability, if I can, for a moment, for those who may have missed it. Accountability is something that you're choosing, right? It's not something that you're justifying to someone else. You're choosing to take accountability because you want to rise above your circumstances, right? You want to demonstrate a level of ownership that's necessary for you. And that's why I put that in bold. This is all for you when you think about accountability. It's not for anybody else. So the moment that we can kind of take our power back and we can kind of invoke some of those steps to accountability, I think that it can really get you on the path to success. So if we want to open up for questions, guys, or if you all have any feedback, I'm definitely open to hearing it.
Wow. Listen, this, it's a game changer when you realize what accountability is. And I just don't know if people are, are aware. And let me turn this. Uh-oh. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm sorry. Forgive me. All elements of Zoom, I do not know.
You did a great job. That was a great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Okay.
And guys, if you have any view on Zoom or Facebook, if you got any questions or you want to chime in on anything that was talked about, I mean, we're just going to keep moving along, but just, in the comment box, shoot us a comment or give some feedback on how you thought the presentation was on accountability. That's for Facebook and Zoom. You going to say something?
I love the part about personal accountability. I mean, that's really, that's really a game changer because, I mean, it is true. When you think of accountability, you think of being accountable to someone else, and you think about but first of all, you're accountable to yourself. And if you're not accountable to yourself, how can you be accountable to anybody else? I like what you say about it's a choice that you make, because most people are made to feel that, if I have to be accountable to somebody else, it is a negative thing. So it is a choice that you can have. That in itself is a game changer to me. So I'm grateful for this presentation, and the people on Facebook Live are popping off about it, they're just saying that it's a great, it's a great presentation. But I mean, just the nuggets that you put in there, I never quite thought about it that way, and I just want to thank you for bringing that up.
I love that. I love that. I know we talked about it when you was first talking about it, but I love how you broke down the Wizard of Oz, because, we talked about it at the table where, and I never thought about it like that when I thought about the movie. Like you say, like the whole time they were chasing something and didn't even know it was already there, like the lion, he's chasing, he want courage, and at the end, I think the wizard basically gave him a little heart, a little toy, little heart thing. So he felt like, oh, now I got courage, when really he had courage the whole time on the journey, even though he had his little scare moments and stuff, and even, Tin Man, with the heart and all of them, just seeking something that was already there. And they didn't necessarily need that wizard to tell them, because the wizard wasn't even real. The wizard he was a man behind the curtains, like they thought he was this powerful God, and he was gonna make all this stuff change and all that. But in actuality, he even said when he got exposed who he really was and came behind the curtains, he was basically like, here go a plaque here go a certificate here, basically y'all already got it. So really, I think that you have to know within yourself that the courage is there, the heart is there, the belief system is there. You have to know that it's already there. And, maybe it took that wizard just to help them recognize, who they really are inside. And the journey that they took to get to him, they really had a heart, they had courage, they had a brain, to think out those things that they did. And, everything worked itself out. So, to bring that movie into it, I think that part was dope, because again, it's just, it's reminding us. And I think we talked about it a week ago when we were just talking about, bringing God into it. We were talking about, how God, he will give you the resources. He will put in you whatever you need to proceed in life and being successful, but he can give it to you, but he's not going to activate it for you. Like we talked about, we use Georgia Power as an example. Like Georgia Power, if you turn on, if you get new service, and you say, I want service at this address, they'll turn the service on, but they're not going to come in your house and turn the lights on. You have to hit the switch. You have to turn the lights on. They provide the power, but you have to ignite the power, turn the switch on, turn the lights on. You have to ignite it. And the same thing God puts within you, you have to ignite the willpower. Like you say, you got to make those calls. You got to, do the proper due diligence. You got to take the action in order to, read what's already there. It's already there. You have to get it because it's already there. And going back to what you said earlier about accountability, first off, you have to realize that, hey, it is an issue, or this is something I have to deal with. It reminds me of my life. It reminds me, when I made a change for the better, the change didn't come until I looked myself in the mirror and said, man, I got to face these flaws. I got to face these issues. I have to look myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I got to deal with this. I got to be a better me. I got to be a better man. I got to be a better husband. I have to be, and just acknowledging that now God can release and give me the proper steps that I have to take in order to be that better man, in order to be that better husband. So, I think, like you said earlier, I think first thing first, if you don't do anything, first you have to look at yourself and acknowledge that maybe there is an issue, or maybe there is something that I need to get better at, and focus on God giving you the path to get to that place. But yeah, that was real good.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that, as you mentioned, acknowledgement is first, and that's the hardest step, right? Because exactly. A lot of times it's hard for people to do a self-evaluation on themselves, because
most of us in denial.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And no one wants to be told that there's something that they need to work on, right? So that's why I said that there's good to have accountability partners just in this realm, because you need to be able to lean on someone who can give you that honest feedback, right? That real honest, and say, hey, this is what I observed. Because a lot of times we feel like we're not justified in giving people feedback, because a lot of times feedback has a negative connotation, like you're coming and you're judging. And it's not about judging. It's just about thanking them for their insight and allowing people to be insightful to you, right? Allowing them to voice an observation. It doesn't mean that you agree maybe with their feedback, but we have to be willing to see the perspective of others. Until we can see the perspective of others, then we can't acknowledge anything that we need to improve on either.
Let me ask you a question. So I know it's important, like you said, as far as accountability and, being able to have somebody to hold you accountable. What would you say to that person that need an accountability partner, want to be around the right people, but most of the people around them is negative? What can they do to surround themselves around maybe a possible accountability partner, or just, the right people in general? Because like you say, I think that is that's the number one setback, is the company you keep, or the environment that you're putting yourself in. Because a lot of people might be saying like, man, I wish I had, somebody who can hold me accountable, but maybe, my spouse is negative, or maybe my friend or my family members are negative, or my best friend is negative, or something. Somebody's putting bad seed in me, and it's not really allowing me to grow, So what's something that, I know that's kind of hard.
I think the first thing about that is, what is the reality that I most need to acknowledge, which is maybe I need to change my surroundings, right? Before we can actually seek accountability partners, the personal choice is within you to be accountable. So if you know that you have individuals in your life, and I know nothing can change overnight, just as behaviors can't, but we have to seek those opportunities to be around different mindsets, whether it's through our church organizations, or joining a different organization, or coworkers, or finding a mentor. A lot of times people are shy away from mentors anymore. Mentorship is kind of a pastime in some sense. But I know that when I was growing up, people seeked mentorship. That's kind of how you pass along certain information. And it may be in somebody that you don't even know. I know that I was at an organization working before, and I didn't even know the lady, but I just looked at her from afar, and I just couldn't acknowledge maybe some of the steps that she was taking that I thought were like, wow, I wonder how she got there, or how she did that. And a lot of times we have to get out of our own ways and not be prideful, and walk up to maybe that person that you wouldn't normally talk to and give them a compliment, and maybe they'll be willing to share some information that can possibly become accountability partner. You never know really what you have in common with someone until you step outside of that box, and it's going to be coming outside of those normal behaviors, not hanging around and having those same, below the line conversations and blame game and victim mentality conversations, because we can easily fall back into those because maybe that was our upbringing. But whenever you have an opportunity to be in a space, whether it's at church or anywhere else, make yourself known and present, right? And start talking to people.
Right.
Because it may not be your accountability partner may not even be anybody you've met yet. Right. And we have to be willing to have those conversations to get those new perspectives and be open to those perspectives. And a lot of us, and I know just for women, we always feel like women don't get along. We get along, you know what I mean? But we have to be willing to not be prideful, you know what I'm saying? And we have to be willing to know that there's something that I can share, just as there's something this young lady can share. And maybe there's something we can come together and really be, successful at doing, and being open to hearing the perspective of others. So to answer your question, if you don't have an accountability partner now, it may be not someone that you've met yet. So the first thing you need to do is self-evaluate your surroundings, because that needs to change. You have to break up with a behavior in order to start a new one. And a lot of that starts with you.
Absolutely. That's I mean, you said it well. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah.
Now I was going to ask you, Carla, so once you're accountable to yourself, right? So what, and that's the basis of all of this, is to be accountable to yourself first. Is it okay to be accountable up, or do you prefer to be accountable up, or do you prefer to be accountable down, or do you prefer to be accountable to the side? When I say up, I mean, somebody that's, perhaps where you want to be. And when I say to the side, is somebody that has the same experiences maybe? What's the best way?
Well, me and my husband had this conversation. You never want to be the smartest one in your group, right? You always want to be.
I just posted that in the comments. Wilson just posted that. You don't know, want to be the smartest one in the room.
Right. So when you think about aspirations to be better, you have to seek that feedback from people who are maybe a little bit above you. Yeah. Because if you're at the same level as someone, you all maybe can't provide each other with the steps that is needed to take it to the next level, right? You need to be getting that advice from that person who's at that next level above you, and figure out, well, how did you do that? What differently can I do? Because as I talked about before, we can't take the same steps as someone else, right? Because that may not be your steps. And if we're on the same level, we might have already did the same things to get us where we are. I'm trying to take the next steps to get me to the next level, because I feel like there's a bigger picture for me. You know what I mean? So I think that that's what we have to always be seeking above. And I think a lot of us are scared of that because it's like, well, maybe I'm not qualified to do that. We kind of start doing that self-doubt, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And that can be a hindrance from us really getting to where we need to be. So if you have to be, I know oftentimes when I would go to Christmas parties or something like that, and I would see people shying away from talking to the directors or the VPs of the company. But if you approach them just like they're a person like you, then you never know the conversation that can be sparked. You can't be intimidated by someone's position or role. You know what I mean? Because there may be something you can offer them just as they can offer you something. And I think that when you approach people in certain positions with that same level minded that we're just people, it can kind of break down those barriers of conversation for sure.
Okay. So when you're looking for that, Carla, are you like, do you say like, this is what I have to offer kind of deal? Or, like you're all, like you come from a servant mentality, or how do you do that?
Well, I think it depends on what your what ifs are, right? What are your what ifs, or what is the things that you're aspiring to do more of? So say, for example, for me, if I was in a role and I felt like, you know what, I'd like to take my position to the next level, I'm going to go to that person and just say, hey, do you mind if I ask you for some feedback? And they can say yes or no. And the first thing I would do is I would spell out what I'm already doing. Hey, this is what I'm doing, and this is where I'd like to be. Do you have any advice of maybe something I need to take in consideration, something I hadn't thought about doing, something I should no longer be doing, maybe a hindrance for me? Because it's not sometimes always what I'm not doing. Some of it's what I need to no longer be doing, right? Because we never know what type of experiences we're giving to people with our energy, right? So we need to be mindful of that. But oftentimes it's easier for a person to step back as an observationist and say, well, I've noticed that you a little bit too aggressive when you approach, or whatever it may be. And that may not have been something that I've taken in consideration. So that's what I do. I always start with, this is what I've been doing. This is where I'm trying to go. There's something that you're doing that I aspire to do or be at. Is there anything or suggestions that you can give me that I can be doing differently?
Wow, that's good. That's great advice. So in other words, bring something to the table. Bring something for that person to chew on. Like if you just come in and you have nothing for them to chew on, then and you probably need to go back to the self, right? If you because that means that you haven't really been doing anything to take any steps. So you've got to go back to self first. But once you get past that, then and you want to get to that person, then bring them something to chew on. Like, I have been doing this, and I'm stuck here, and that shows that other person that, hey, at least this person's in the game. Because I love it when I see somebody that says, that somebody that says, I've been doing this, that. How now you can help me.
Right. And then when you think about feedback, that's often where people struggle too, because a lot of us don't seek feedback. Accountable people seek feedback. They don't just wait on it, right? So that's another piece to accountability. When you want to be accountable for something, you're always seeking more awareness about things. But whenever you have feedback, be focused, have a focused feedback conversation. Because I know sometimes we can go into a conversation talking about one thing, then the conversation kind of goes awry, and then we forgot about the point that we're talking about, right? So you want to make sure that when you do a feedback session or you ask someone for feedback, be specific in what feedback you want, right? What feedback do you have for me, right? And you want to be deliberate when you ask that question. Not, do you have any feedback for me? Because there's a different way of asking. Because when you say, do you have any feedback for me? It gives someone an option to say, no, I don't have anything. But when you set the expectation with what feedback do you have for me, you're setting the tone to say, I'm open to receiving something, right? I'm setting the expectation that you have something to give that I like to hear. And whenever someone takes the time to give you feedback, always thank them. Thank you for your feedback, whether you agree or not, because you're not thanking them because they're right and you agree. You're thanking them for their insight, because it takes a lot for people to give you feedback. So you want to be appreciative of it when you do receive it.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's another aspect of being grateful. Of just, keeping the mindset of just being grateful at all times, no matter what, I'm going to be grateful, no matter what situation I'm in, I'm going to be grateful. And, no matter what you say, I'm going to be grateful. That's amazing to me. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome stuff. I'm looking at some of these comments here.
Yeah, me too.
This is something that people have wanted. apparently, you know,
Yeah.
and this is powerful.
Man. Wilson said, great presentation, Carla. Your mother said, accountability should be the mindset of each and every one to get the goal they want. She also said, great presentation, great job, Carla. Your brother saying, smartest woman I know.
Yes, he did.
Anissa said, especially the analogy between Dorothy, Tim, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, that we all have the tools already. Wonderful presentation, wonderful presentation. Daniel said, God give us all the tools. It's our responsibility to unlock them. Anissa said, wonderful presentation. Sarah said, I appreciate and I am contributing to the problem, or I am not contributing to the solution, similar to what I used to tell my young son. Are you getting closer or further to what you say you want with how you're choosing to behave right now? And she said, break up with the behavior, love it, I agree, up-level your circle. People just saying, some nice things. Everybody, picking up the
I'm glad that they're enjoying it. I mean, for sure. I mean, as I mentioned, I teach this at work.
Okay, we had this comments a long time about a discussion.
Yeah.
People really enjoyed it. That's
$1 million information. You got, guys, this is actually $1 million information because you guys have to understand, like, if corporations are getting to this information and this stuff is getting to corporations, look, this is creme de la creme, filet mignon, whatever you want to call it. This is that kind of information. And we're just great.
You need to put all this into a book. I guess he's saying you need to put your book together.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, Carla.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, you got something else you want to say real quick?
Huh?
There was something else you want to say? Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to kind of sneak this verse in on Luke 12:48. It says, the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with a few blows. So if you don't know, like you just walking around in blissful ignorance, you'll never get ahead. You'll never get ahead. You'll never progress. You'll never nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you won't experience any punishment or anything like that. You'll just be, walking that line. But it says, from everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much, much more will be asked. And, listen, I mean, it's like once you get to that point of self-accountability, then, it's on you. And one thing that I understand is, like, we've heard this information.
Right.
That's the thing. Is now we've all heard this information, and so now it's a time to look at ourselves, be accountable to ourselves. Now much is entrusted of us. Not much has been entrusted of us, so much is demanded of us now. So thank you guys for jumping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Carla, for
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
that was dope, man. We really appreciate you. We about almost at the hour mark now, so we appreciate you jumping on. Hey, this may even turn into a future meetup, so we
absolutely, yeah, let's do it.
Bring it, a longer period, give us more time, but I think you did a great job for the small amount of time that you had.
Yeah.
People really received it.
Want some more.
That was the purpose. that was the goal, just for people just to be able to get something to spark their week, and I think we got to, look ourselves in the mirror, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's focus on wanting to be better. Just, man, you should yearn to want to be better. You should just look yourself in the mirror and say, I deserve better. I know I can be better, and I have to accept my flaws and work with what I got and say, you know what, this is going to be a journey. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but I'm ready to face my fears. I'm ready to face myself, and I'm ready to get better, because again, when you get better, you impact everybody around you. You impact all the people around you. It's people out here who need you, and the more and more you keep falling back and you're not being the person that God anointed you to be, then again, it's really selfish, So again, thanks, sis, for jumping on. We're going to get ready to close it out.
Thank you, Carla, for the blog. Thank you for the blog. we know it's coming. I mean, you know.
Right.
Absolutely. It's something that, and guys, you know, this was a mindset call, but of course we do real estate. You know, we're actively still looking for deals. We're actively looking to partner with more people. You know, me and Tim made a goal by the end of the year. It's, you know, we got a little bit more than 2 months left in the year, fourth quarter. We're trying to partner with about 10 people to do some deals. You know, we got a couple of them already wrapped up. But we're looking to partner with some more people. So if you got any opportunities, you got a deal you want to talk about, a deal you want to partner with, or if you want to know more about our program, we are, you know, interviewing people as we speak. Our new program, we have our Dollar for Dollars program. You know, we got a couple of people that's going to be up and coming, that's going to get started. And we're looking for, you know, a handful of more people that, you know, looking to partner with us, work with, you know, me and Tim side by side. You know, we have a complete system, leads. We got the system to make calls. You know, we just need the team and the manpower to be able to push it forward. So if there's something you may be interested in, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. That's reiwholesalersrus@gmail.com. That's REI wholesalersrus@gmail.com. That's REI wholesalers us, that's RUS@gmail.com. You know, just send us an email and just tell us why, you know, we should consider you. If you're interested in working with us, we feel free to just send us an email, and we'll love to hear from you. We'll love to partner with you. Go ahead, bro.
Got one question I see up here that's interesting, and Carla, can you spend just like 2 more minutes? Because
Yeah.
I saw a question from Sarah, and she said, where does feedback come in when one is being accountable for oneself?
I think the feedback comes in for yourself with just setting your goals, right? And a lot of times, if you're good at self-evaluation, then you can do that feedback, but you really can't get a true feedback unless you get it from someone else, because they're going to tell you the things that you're not acknowledging already about yourself, right? Okay. But a lot of us know where we fall short. Like, we know that we need to change our environment. We know we need to change our friends. We know that we need to stop thinking negatively. So when you can start acknowledging those, then that's also a feedback to yourself, the things that you can already acknowledge. But I would definitely encourage getting that second piece of feedback from at least one other person that you trust. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shout out to my mom. She said you need to make your 2021 your year and set your goals now.
Yes.
Now.
Right.
Yes.
Already. This year almost over. She said I already started setting your goals for 2021. You know,
yeah, right now.
And Sarah said, thank you for that question and being answered.
You're welcome.
So that's it. I mean, anything else, bro, before we close it out, man?
I got nothing except just when is the next time when we can twist your arm?
I know, right? Just invite me back.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to set something back up real soon.
Okay.
Hopefully the next time we get her, it'd be in person. You know, when we we're able to get back in fellowship, because we miss our in-person meetups. We were just talking about it the other day. I know a lot of you guys been wondering what's been going on with the meetups. You know, we just been focusing on finishing the year strong, focusing on, being better version of ourselves, like we talked about tonight. But we got meetups, they're going to come, and we pray that God allows us to be able to come together and fellowship as a community like the way it used to be, because we miss those meetups. We miss seeing people in person and shaking hands and networking and passing cards out and stuff like that. We miss that. So we pray that, this pandemic come to an end very, very soon. And, we'll love to see you guys. So again, thank y'all. We appreciate y'all spending an hour with us. This was a blessed meeting. Grateful to have all you guys on the call tonight. Grateful for my sister blessing us with her presence. Grateful for my partner, Tim. Grateful for Delano. Grateful for Lachette. Everybody that's a part of our Wholesale Rush team and community. We love y'all. We'll be on this line next Monday, 8 o'clock, same time. We may have another guest, or it may just be me and Tim. Whatever, it's going to be value. Every Monday is going to be value. You can't miss it. This definitely need to be food for your thought, and keep it in your spirit and keep it on your schedule every Monday at 8 p.m. And we'll see you guys next Monday, y'all. Be blessed. We love y'all. Be safe.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.